Good afternoon, Malacañang Press Corps. Let's now have Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque.
Good morning, Philippines, and good morning to the ladies and gentlemen of the Malacañang Press Corps. Let me begin with our Monday good news. The Duterte administration is indeed doing its best to provide support and assistance to Filipino beneficiaries through proper and immediate implementation of land distribution under its continuing agrarian reform program. With this, we are pleased to announce that the Department of Agrarian Reform has distributed 47 certificates of land ownership awards to 49 agrarian reform beneficiaries in 4 municipalities in the province of Rizal. These are the municipalities of Tanay, Murong, Baras, and Antipolo. This is to inform that 4 local government units have become recipients of the Department of Finance Climate Change Adaptation Projects. They are Lanuza, Surigao del Sur with 39 million, Del Carmen, Surigao del Norte with 80.7 million, San Francisco, Camotes Island, Cebu with 33.89 million, and Gerona Tarlac with 38.1 million. The DOF, if you will recall, has set up the People's Survival Fund to aid vulnerable communities to prepare for the adverse effects of climate change. The PSF has a program annual fund of 1 billion pesos in the National Treasury, which is on top of the annual appropriations allocated to LGUs for programs and projects related to climate change. These 4 projects will have counterpart financing on the part of the LGUs to improve the scale of the projects and promote proper disbursement of provided funds. Now, we also have good news in the fight against impunity, particularly against media killings. This morning, we're pleased to announce a breakthrough in the killing of broadcaster Christopher Luzada. A witness has personally identified the gunman who shot Chris Luzada, and the Presidential Task Force on Media Killings will initiate the filing of appropriate charges against a suspect who happens to work for the family of Bislig City Mayor Librado Navarro. Undersecretary Joel C. Egco, Executive Director of the Presidential Task Force on Media Security, spearheaded the investigation and follow-up on the case, and he's here this morning to assist the witness. Ladies and gentlemen of the Malacañang Press Corps, Undersecretary Egco.
Thank you very much, Secretary Roque. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The photo here shows the victim, Christopher Lozada. He was killed last October 24 while he was driving home along with his live-in partner, Hanife Toyko, in his own barangay in the city of Bislig, Surigao del Sur. Lozada died on the spot while Toyko sustained gunshot wounds and was rushed to the Andres Soriano Hospital for treatment. Next slide, please. On October 25, 2017, the PT Foams requested then Director Augusto Marquez of the DIDM and Task Force USIG, Executive Director Superintendent Eder Collantes, to take immediate action and conduct an investigation on the incident. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry. On October 27, we proceeded to Butuan City to conduct a case conference on the case of Mr. Lozada. The conference was presided by then Chief Superintendent Rolando Felix, the Regional Director of Region 13, and it was also attended by the SITG Lozada, ito yung special task force po ng PNP, headed by Senior Superintendent Romualdo Baiting. There was also the CIDG Chief, Superintendent Cesar Padayos, and other PNP units working for the quick resolution of the case. Here are some of the photos during the visit. Next slide, please. Part of our visit was to attend the wake of Mr. Lozada and to personally see the site where the killing took place. Next slide, please. Also, during the same visit, I was able to get in touch with Hanife Toyko, who survived the attack. Next slide, please. On 6 November 2017, the PT Firms wrote another letter to Director Augusto Marquez reiterating the request for the investigation to be conducted by the CIDG upon the request of Mr. Lozada's family, considering the alleged involvement of local officials in the area. On 7 November 2017, the PT Firms coordinated the implementation of 2 search warrants to the conduct of search and seizure operations by a team of PNP personnel led by Superintendent Cesar Padayos of the CIDG at the residences of Felixberto Villosino Jr. and, remember the name, Rolly Mahilum, who were named by sources as suspects in the shooting incident. I personally did the follow-up and personally supervised the serving of the search warrants. After serving the search warrants, after 1 day, curiously, Superintendent Padayos was relieved from his post and he was transferred since then to the Cordillera Administrative Region Police Office. Next slide. So these are the subject vehicles. We have on the left and the upper right the Toyota Vios used by the victims actually. So ito yung back portion. Take note that the rear bumper is missing dahil binangga po yan allegedly nung van. So ito yung front. And during Colonel Padayos and the PNP officers serving of the warrants, pinakunan po natin litrato yung subject gray van. This was first suspected to be at the house of Rolly Mahilum, who was supposedly a driver of the local government official there. But during the search warrant, the van went missing, and they were able to trace the said van in the garage of the City Hall. Next slide, please. On 10 November, upon receipt of the letter sent by PT Firms, the DIDM, through Chief Superintendent Eric Reyes, directed the CIDG to take appropriate action and likewise directed the Regional Director of the PNP PRO 13 to submit a report on the latest updates on the matter. 29 November, PT Firms received a report from Senior Superintendent Francisco Dungo Jr., OIC of the PNP PPO Surigao del Sur. Ito po yung mga sinabi sa atin that first, the initial investigation revealed that Lozada has a libel case filed by Bislig City Mayor Librado Navarro, pending before Branch 29 of the RTC of Bislig City. Lozada had also been receiving threats through text messages from an unidentified sender. And number 2 of their findings, on 7 November also, a certain Felixberto Villosino Jr., aka Junjun, was arrested for illegal possession of firearms and ammunition following a search conducted at this place, which yielded a fragmentation grenade, a 38 caliber revolver, and 4 live ammunition. He was subsequently charged with a criminal complaint for violation of RA 10591 or the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act and RA 9516, illegal possession of explosives. Villosino is an alleged cohort of the gunmen in the shooting of Lozada and Toyco, and he remains under custody of the PNP sa IDG 13 as of this report. On 6 December, the PT Firms wrote a letter to Chief Superintendent Noli Romana, the Regional Director of Pro 13, requesting for updates and copies of pertinent documents on cases involving media worker killings under his jurisdiction, which includes the case of Christopher Lozada. So on 7 of December, we received a new report from Senior Superintendent Francisco Dungo Jr., the OIC of the Philippine National Police Provincial Police Office of Surigao del Sur. Ito po yung mga sinabi. Number 1, that a suspected getaway vehicle used by the gunmen was identified by the police, a Toyota Hiace van with plate number SFJ 951 with engine number 2KD5159024. So and so. The said vehicle is allegedly owned by the city government of Bislig and was requested to be made available to the PNP for check and verification through the mayor. The request was made on 7 November 2017. As of the report, Mayor Navarro has not responded to the request. Number 2 item, another suspected cohort of the gunmen had been identified. Again, a certain Rolly Mahilum, remember the name. He was also charged with violation of RA 10591 and RA 9516. So pareho yung kinaso sa kanila. Mahilum remains at large. Next slide, please. 20 December, again, Senior Superintendent Francisco Dungo Jr. submitted a report to us, reporting that, number 1, that Hani Faith Toyko, the survivor, the live-in partner, had already executed a sworn statement and that it was subscribed before the city prosecutor's office. And number 2, on November 20, 2 witnesses executed sworn statements on the gray Toyota Hiace van used in the killing of Lozada, which were subscribed again before the city prosecutor. Next slide, please, after this. Okay. On February 25, next slide. On February 25, 2018, while browsing through the pictures of Mr. Lozada on the laptop computer of one of the victim's staff, the witness who is now in our custody, the principal eyewitness in the case, came across a photo of this man who the witness identified without doubt as the man who shot Lozada. Okay? Next slide, please. That's the photo of the man. And this is Christopher Lozada, the victim. So, the man was later identified by family and friends, by local sources there, and other officials in Bislig City as Rolly Mahilum. So the same Rolly Mahilum who has been the subject, who has been facing charges of illegal possession since last year. But remember that last year they have a name, but they don't have a photo. But when our witness saw this photo, sinabi niya, siya talaga. Pero hindi niya mapangalanan. It turned out that the photo is that of Rolly Mahilum. So our next step is that we're going to file the appropriate charges against Rolly Mahilum. We cannot give you the other details about our next steps because we don't want to telegraph our punches to the other side. And rest assured that we are doing this because we are sincere. The government is sincere in running after anybody or anyone who maims, who threatens, and who even kills journalists, especially during the time of President Rodrigo Duterte. So that's all, ladies and gentlemen. If you have questions.
If you have questions? Yusek Ekon.
Yeah. Merong ano daw, who is Rolly Mahilum? Rolly Mahilum is, according to them, according to our witnesses, our sources in Bitlig, is still the driver, was a close aide of the family of the city mayor of Bislig. So we do not claim that any of the family member is directly linked, no, to the crime, but yun nga, it depends. Depende dun siguro sa sasabihin na itong si Rolly Mahilum once we get him.
Questions,
Thank
MPC? Yusek Ekon,
Thank you, sir.
na-file na ba yung case against Rolly Mahilum?
We're going to file it immediately.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Yusek Egko. Again, the position of the Duterte administration is that we value freedom of the press, we value the right to life, and that is why the office of Yusek Egko was created precisely to deal with the issue of impunity, to prevent and to safeguard the lives of media personnel. Now, I'd like to welcome our guest, Madam Ambassador of Australia. Thank you for joining us, ma'am. Questions, please. Be nice because the Australian ambassador is around. So please,
MPC question.
for once, be nice. Go ahead.
Laila, you have question?
Good morning, sir. Sir, we objected to the statements of the High Commissioner for Human Rights that the President should undergo a psychiatric evaluation. Is this going to affect our willingness or our openness to a rapporteur to conduct a fact-finding inquiry in the country?
I think we have made our position clear on the matter of special rapporteurs. We welcome special rapporteurs provided they be impartial, neutral, and willing to investigate rather than those already having conclusions and wanting to justify them through an investigation. I think the matter of the statement made by the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights is being treated very seriously. It's being treated as a diplomatic affront. It's wholly unacceptable. And until now, I'm restraining myself from using similar language. I can assure the good High Commissioner I'm better at using names. Yes, please.
So, sir, to be clear, we won't be using his comments as an excuse or a reason to stop a rapporteur from coming to the country.
Well, the comments are wholly unacceptable. I would say that for now, there are already communications ongoing between no less than the UN Secretary General and the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. No? Let's just say that that kind of a comment is not conducive to having further investigations in the Philippines by any special rapporteur. But as I said, the communications are ongoing. Let's see what happens.
You have
So, are you saying there's a possibility that we might stop an investigation because of the comments?
No, I'm just saying that it did not come at an appropriate time.
Okay, follow up. Pia Gutierrez.
Sir, on the palace's objection to the remarks of the UN official, why is language suddenly important for an administration that tolerates the remarks of President Duterte? Basically, it's yung language or remarks of President Duterte is, kung tutusin natin, is more controversial, like his remarks on shooting NPA fighters in the genitals.
Because in the
calling
UN
heads of-
system, sovereignty is important and sovereign heads are still respected.
But President Duterte has called former U.S. President Barack Obama as a son of a bitch.
That's a former president, not a sitting president.
But his remarks, sir, was made when President Obama was still sitting as U.S.
That's
President.
correct,
sir.
but he was not UN Secretary General. He is serving as UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, which is still an international organization composed of states. And heads of states are not accorded that kind of a language.
So, sir, what is the difference between a UN official and a president of a country, sir?
Well, because the UN officials should, as a matter of course, respect sitting heads of states, because after all, the UN is composed, as an international organization, is composed of sovereign states, and the sovereign states, of course, are represented by their respective leaders. No? And of course, I've said already over the weekend that we especially take offense because President is a democratically elected leader of this nation.
So basically, sir, you're saying that we excuse the language of the president but not a
No,
UN
there's a word
official.
of a difference between a UN official using crude language against a sitting head of state and the president using any kind of language that he wants on a private individual, especially in this instance when the person using the crude language is himself without a democratic mandate.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Ace Romero.
Secretary, how about the president's remarks over the weekend that he would throw the human rights experts to crocodiles? Is it serious or it's just one of those controversial statements?
It's an appropriate response to a remark that, as I said, should not have been made by a sitting UN High Commissioner for Human Rights.
Appropriate remark.
It's an appropriate response.
But will he do it? I mean, if
I don't think he's in a position to do it. Come on.
Okay.
They're
So-
not even being allowed in to investigate. There will be no occasion to push them to the crocodiles.
Okay, thank you, Secretary.
Follow-up question? Other issue? MPC? Other issue?
Well, you're quiet all of a sudden. You're being nice because we have visitors. Thank you
okay.
very much.
Raymond Tinasa. Raymond.
I said, good noon. Sir, just a reaction to the position of the Chief Justice Sereno early this morning not to resign and not to bow down to the calls of her resignation.
Gosh, it's up to her. We've
And-
left the decision to her. No one can force her to resign if she doesn't want. However, I think the sentiment even of the lower court judges have been made known, and we can only hope that the Chief Justice will take all these sentiments into consideration. But the decision to resign is hers to be made.
Sir, but precisely, aren't you concerned that there will be an effect to the delivery of justice now that the Philippine Judges Association aired their grievance or their position calling her to resign?
That's for her to consider. The Supreme Court is a collegial body, and there's 14 other justices.
Thank you, sir.
Follow-up question? Other issue? A follow-up? Pia.
Sir, this morning the employees of the Supreme Court has asked CJ Sereno to resign. So what does the palace think of that, sir? And what do you think her unpopularity among her peers, does it have anything to say about her capacity to lead the judiciary?
Well, as I said earlier, no, the decision to resign is one to be made by the Chief Justice alone. And at most, what we are going to say is that we hope that she takes into consideration the sentiments of everyone, all the stakeholders. So far, her colleagues have asked her to go on indefinite leave, and the lower court judges have asked her to resign. We can only ask her to consider all these calls from various stakeholders within the courts itself.
Questions? Sheila? Follow-up, Ina? Sheila.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Sir, the consultative committee tasked to review the 1987 Constitution has recommended to regulate the political dynasties instead of banning them. Does the palace support this, and why?
Well, I think the sentiment of the president itself is he doesn't consider political dynasties as bad per se. He has said that sometimes they can lead to good results, but we respect and defer to the wisdom of the consultative commission, and we hope that Congress will consider this particular recommendation.
MPC? Ina? Other topic.
Hi, sir. Sir, may update na po pa dun sa decision sa Boracay. Is it true that the option to close down the island is no longer being considered?
Well, there was supposed to be a meeting today, but I understand they had it earlier last Friday because Secretary Simatu was not available today. And I understand there will be another meeting this week with Architect Jun Palafox. So no decision has been made by at least the 3 Secretaries of Justice because there's a second round of meeting to be held this week.
MPC? Questions? Ian? Follow-up? Other issue?
What did you do again to Joseph Morong?
Follow-up muna tayo with... Follow-up muna. Celerina? Thank you, Ian.
Good afternoon, sir. So regarding the President's statement before that he will declare a state of calamity in Boracay, meron na bang any proclamation or what?
No proclamation yet.
When can we expect that proclamation?
I can't say, but I will inform you if one has been issued.
Okay, thank you, Ian.
I understand that no less than the municipality of Malay is also considering the possibility of a similar declaration of a state of calamity because under the law, the local government unit or the national government can declare such a declaration. No?
Okay.
Secretary,
Ian.
good afternoon. Napirmahan po ni Presidente yung isang law granting subpoena powers to PNP. May mga other sectors na nagsasabi baka daw ma-abuse ito ng PNP.
Well, like all laws, it can be abused, but The objective of the law is to bolster the investigation capability of the PNP, and I highlight to add 2 points. Number one, not all policemen can issue subpoenas, only the chief PNP, the CIDG chief, and the deputy. Number two, breach of the subpoena will not give the police any authority to detain anyone. It will only be a cause of action for indirect contempt. They have to go to court, file a petition for indirect contempt before they can apprehend anyone for failure to comply with the subpoena. So under this circumstance, I think the possibility of abuse will be minimized, if not remote.
Questions?
Another topic, sir.
Okay.
Sir, na-reappoint yung kasi ni Ma'am Hanilet sa HADC, you know? Does that mean, sir, na yung ibang natanggal pwede ring maibalik, and may policy na ba tayo tungkol doon?
Appointment, of course, is a purely executive prerogative, no? So no one can question the inherent power of the president to appoint anyone.
Thank you. Sir, another topic, sir. MRT, sir. Do you have an update regarding MRT, sir?
None yet, but I think I will release some documents this week as I promised.
Okay. MPC, questions? Juan?
Hi sir, Joanna Valera ng Inquirer.net. Ako po yung nagte-text sa inyo. Sir,
Yes.
follow up ko lang po doon sa subpoena powers. Since there are thousands of cases under investigation ng PNP, no, how do you think the subpoena powers can affect this number po?
Well, I suppose because of the fact that there are limited signatories to the subpoenas, no, that it will be reserved for the extreme circumstance where individuals have absolutely refused to cooperate in an ongoing police investigation. The fact that only 3 people can sign it, of course, would mean that it would not be resorted as often as people might expect. No? So it bolsters the power of the police to conduct investigations properly, but it's not going to be a common thing. No?
Okay. So how do you define, sir, yung extreme power po? Yung extreme instances?
Well, because it has to go up to the chain of command if you want a subpoena, no? So you would have to make a request. No? So I'm sure the police will reserve the exercise of the subpoena powers when there's really an absolute unwillingness to cooperate with an ongoing investigation.
Okay, no more? MPC? Pia?
Sir, what does the president say on about the efforts to encourage Sap Bongo to run for senator?
Well, I understand the president has broached it to SAPGO, and it's something that they are discussing between the two of them.
Ace?
Nabanggit kasi ni Secretary Go sa huling ambush interview, it will be up to the president. So the president will give him the go signal whether to run. May say si president.
I believe so. The position of SAPGO is he will heed whatever the president wishes him to do.
So it will be dependent on the president.
Yes,
pa rin.
definitely.
So kahit gusto niya kung ayaw ni presidente.
He has said that personally he would not run, but if the president asks him to, he will.
Okay. Prince? Last question na tayo kay Prince.
Hi, sir. Good morning, sir. Sir, Senator Laila De Lima took offense at your remark against the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights. She said that what you are boasting is just a shadow of what remains of the Philippine democracy.
I don't know what she's talking about. She won in the same election where the president won. So she's saying that she shouldn't have sat as a senator. My point was people who have a democratic mandate deserve respect, especially from those without a mandate.
She also likened you to a common house fly, sir, and even described you as a fake human rights lawyer, sir.
Again, enjoy the rest of your life in jail.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, MPC, no more questions? Okay, thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque.
Thank you very much and good afternoon.
Thank you to our guest and Malacañang Press Corps. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and PTV.
Wala nang ambush, no, may bisita ako. Wala, may bisita ako, no. We're so late sa aking mga bisita. Tsaka na, bukas na kayo mag-ambush. Ha? Yung ano? Ano yun? Ano yun? Ano yung scandal sa Mabini?